Maya Chen stood outside the small medical clinic for the third time this week. Her hand shook as she gripped the metal door handle. The building looked old and tired, with peeling paint on the walls and a sign that needed fixing. But that was exactly why she chose this place. Big hospitals scared her. They were too clean, too bright, and full of people in white coats who always seemed to be in a hurry. She took a deep breath and pushed the door open. A small bell rang above her head. The waiting room was empty except for an older woman behind the front desk. The woman looked up and smiled. "Are you Maya Chen?" she asked in a kind voice. Maya nodded, not trusting herself to speak without her voice shaking. "Dr. Turner will see you in just a minute. Please have a seat." Maya sat down in one of the old chairs. The fabric was worn but clean. She looked around the room. There were magazines on a small table, but they looked several months old. A fish tank in the corner bubbled quietly. The whole place felt calm, which was exactly what Maya needed. She had been putting off this visit for 6 months. Ever since she was little, doctors made her nervous. When she was 8, she had to go to the hospital for her broken arm. The doctors there were nice enough, but everything was so fast and scary. The needles, the machines, the way everyone talked, in words she did not understand. She promised herself she would never go back to a place like that. But lately she had been feeling tired all the time. Her roommate at college kept telling her she looked pale. Sometimes she got dizzy when she stood up too fast. She knew she needed to see a doctor, but every time she thought about it, her heart started beating fast and her hands got sweaty. This little clinic was different, though. She found it by accident when she was walking through the older part of town. It did not look like the big medical centers near the university. It looked like the kind of place where doctors actually cared about their patients. "Maya Chen?" A man's voice called from a doorway. She looked up and saw a young doctor walking toward her. He was not what she expected at all. Most doctors she remembered were older men with serious faces. This doctor looked like he was maybe in his early 30s. He had dark hair and kind eyes that seemed to notice she was nervous. "I'm Dr. Turner," he said, extending his hand. "It's nice to meet you." Maya shook his hand. His grip was firm but gentle. She noticed he was wearing an expensive-looking watch, which seemed strange in such a simple clinic. "Thank you for seeing me," Maya said quietly. "Of course. Come on back. To my office." Dr. Turner led her down a short hallway. Maya noticed that while the front of the clinic looked old and simple, the back areas had some very modern equipment. There was an X-ray machine that looked brand new, and she caught a glimpse of some other machines through an open door that seemed way too advanced for a small clinic like this. His office was comfortable. There were 2 chairs facing each other, instead of the usual examination table that made Maya feel like she was being studied under a microscope. Dr. Turner sat down across from her and opened a folder. "So Maya, what brings you in today?" he asked. Maya had practiced this conversation in her head many times, but now that she was here, the words felt stuck in her throat. I've been feeling tired lately," she began. "And sometimes I get dizzy." Dr. Turner nodded and wrote something down. "How long has this been going on?" "Maybe 3 or 4 months. My roommate says I look pale all the time. Are you eating well? Getting enough sleep?" Maya thought about this. College life was not exactly known for good eating or sleeping habits. "I try to eat well, but sometimes I forget when I'm studying, and I stay up late a lot." Dr. Turner smiled. "That sounds like every college student I've ever met. But let's make sure there's nothing else going on. When was your last checkup?" Maya felt her cheeks get warm. "I haven't been to a doctor since high school." "That's okay," Dr. Turner said, and Maya was surprised that he did not seem upset about it. "A lot of people avoid doctors. Can I ask why? You decided to come in now?" Maya looked down at her hands. "I got scared last week. I was walking up the stairs to my dorm room and I had to sit down because I felt like I might pass out." Dr. Turner leaned forward slightly. "That must have been frightening." "It was. I kept thinking about what would happen if I passed out and no one found me." "Well, you did the right thing by coming in. Let's figure out what's going on." Dr. Turner asked her more questions about her symptoms, her family history, and her lifestyle. Maya found herself relaxing as they talked. He did not rush her or make her feel stupid for waiting so long to see a doctor. When she mentioned that her grandmother had some kind of blood problem, he asked gentle questions about that too. "I'd like to do a basic examination and run some blood tests," Dr. Turner said. "The blood tests will help us see if you're anemic or if there are any other issues we need to address." Maya's stomach tightened. "Blood tests? Just a small sample. I know needles can be scary, but I promise I'll be very careful. We have a great lab tech here who is excellent with nervous patients." Maya nodded, even though the idea of needles still made her feel sick. The examination was nothing like what she had feared. Dr. Turner explained everything he was doing before he did it. He listened to her heart and lungs, checked her blood pressure, and looked at her eyes and throat. Everything was done slowly and carefully. "Your heart sounds good," he said as he put away his stethoscope. "But your blood pressure is a little low and you do look pale. The blood tests will tell us more." After the blood draw, which was much easier than Maya expected, Dr. Turner walked her back to the front desk. "We should have your results in a couple of days," he said. "I'll call you personally with the results." "You will?" Maya was surprised. She thought doctors always had nurses call with test results. "Of course. If there's anything that needs attention, we'll discuss all your options." "And Maya?" He waited until she looked at him. "Don't worry too much. We're going to figure this out together." As Maya walked out of the clinic, she felt something she had not expected. For the first time in months, she felt hopeful. Dr. Turner had made her feel like a person, not just another patient. She did not know that in 2 days, her simple visit to a small clinic would change everything about her understanding of the world. 3 days later, Maya sat in the same comfortable chair in Dr. Turner's office. This time, she felt less nervous but more worried. The blood test results were spread out on his desk, and his face looked serious as he read them. "Maya, your iron levels are very low," Dr. Turner said gently. "You have what we call severe anemia. That's why you've been feeling tired and dizzy." Maya felt her heart sink. "Is that bad?" "It's treatable, but we need to find out why your iron is so low. Sometimes it's just poor diet, but in cases this severe, we need to make sure there's nothing else going on." Dr. Turner pulled out a piece of paper and started writing. "I'm going to send you for some additional tests, an ultrasound and some imaging studies to check your internal organs." Maya looked at the paper he handed her. The name at the top made her eyes widen. "Memorial Advanced Medical Center? But that's the expensive hospital across town. I can't afford tests there." Dr. Turner waved his hand like it was not important. "Don't worry about that. I'll make some calls and work something out." "But Dr. Turner, I'm just a college student. I have basic insurance, but nothing that would cover tests at a place like Memorial." "Trust me, Maya. Cost is not going to be a problem." Maya stared at him. Something about the way he said it made her curious. How could a doctor at a small rundown clinic promise to get her expensive test at the best hospital in the city? "I'll call them this afternoon and get you scheduled for tomorrow morning," Dr. Turner continued. "The sooner we figure this out, the sooner we can get you feeling better." After Maya left the clinic, she could not stop thinking about Dr. Turner's confidence about the expensive tests. She decided to do some research. That evening, she sat in her dorm room with her laptop and searched for information about Memorial Advanced Medical Center. The prices she found made her stomach hurt. A basic ultrasound cost more than she made in 2 months at her part-time job. The next morning, Maya arrived at Memorial feeling completely out of place. The building was huge and modern, with marble floors and expensive artwork on the walls. Everyone who worked there wore crisp uniforms and moved with purpose. Maya felt like she did not belong. At the registration desk, a woman in a perfect suit looked at Maya's paperwork. "Maya Chen?" "Oh yes, you're Dr. Turner's patient. Everything has been taken care of. Please have a seat and someone will be with you shortly." Maya was confused. "Taken care of? Your tests have been paid for in full. Dr. Turner's office handled everything." Maya sat in the waiting area, surrounded by expensive furniture and quiet classical music. She watched well-dressed people come and go. How had Dr. Turner paid for all this? Small clinic doctors did not make enough money to cover $1,000 tests for their patients. The tests themselves went smoothly. The technicians were professional and efficient. When Maya asked about getting copies of her results, they told her everything would be sent directly to Dr. Turner's office. 2 hours later, Maya found herself back at the small clinic. She needed answers. The receptionist told her Dr. Turner was with another patient, but would see her as soon as possible. Maya waited in the small waiting room, but her mind was racing. She looked around the clinic with new eyes. The furniture was old, but she noticed that all the medical equipment she could see was state-of-the-art. The computers were new and expensive looking. Even the fish tank had some kind of advanced filtration system. When Dr. Turner finally called her back, Maya followed him to his office. But this time, instead of going straight in, she noticed that his office door was slightly open and she could hear him talking on the phone. No, redirect the funds from the lunar mining operation, Dr. Turner was saying. The Mars terraforming project can wait another quarter. We need those resources allocated to the Earth-based medical facilities immediately. Maya stopped walking. Lunar mining? Mars terraforming? What was Dr. Turner talking about? Also, tell the board that I won't be attending next week's meeting. About the Jupiter station contracts, I have patients to see. Dr. Turner noticed Maya standing in the hallway and quickly ended his call. Maya, come in, I have your test results. Maya sat down, but she could not focus on what he was saying about her ultrasound results. Her mind was stuck on what she had just heard. Dr. Turner, she interrupted. Can I ask you something? He looked surprised. Of course. How did you pay for my tests at Memorial? And what were you talking about on the phone just now? Lunar mining and Mars terraforming. Dr. Turner was quiet for a long moment. He leaned back in his chair and looked at Maya carefully. She could see him making some kind of decision. Maya, what I'm about to tell you might be hard to believe. Try me. Dr. Turner took a deep breath. My full name is Alexander Turner. I'm the heir to Turner Aerospace Industries. Maya blinked. Everyone had heard of Turner Aerospace. They were one of the biggest companies in the world, involved in everything from satellite technology to space exploration. You mean the Turner Aerospace that's building the first permanent base on Mars? That's the one. My family owns it. I'm worth about $12 billion. Maya stared at him. You're joking. I'm not joking. My father started the company 50 years ago. When he died 3 years ago, I inherited everything. The board expects me to run the company, attend meetings, make decisions about space colonies and mining operations. But you're here, in this little clinic, because this is where I want to be, Dr. Turner said firmly. I went to medical school because I wanted to help people. When I inherited the company, I could have spent my life in boardrooms and corporate offices. Instead, I chose to practice medicine in places where people really need help. Maya felt dizzy, and it was not because of her anemia. So when you said you'd work something out for my tests, I called Memorial and told them to send the bill to Turner Aerospace. To them, it's less than what we spend on coffee for one board meeting. Why didn't you tell me? Dr. Turner smiled sadly. Because most people treat me differently when they know about the money. They either want something from me, or they feel uncomfortable around me. I wanted to be just your doctor, not the billionaire heir to a space exploration company. Maya looked around his simple office. But you could have the best medical practice in the world. You could have a clinic that makes Memorial look cheap. Could. But the people who need help the most can't afford fancy clinics. They need doctors who will see them in places like this, who won't make them feel ashamed for waiting too long to get help. Maya thought about her first visit, how comfortable and safe Dr. Turner had made her feel. So you really are just a regular doctor. I try to be. The money is useful for helping patients get the care they need, but it doesn't change what I want to do with my life. Maya sat back in her chair trying to process everything. Her simple visit to a small clinic had just revealed that her doctor was one of the richest people on Earth, but somehow that made her respect him even more. 2 weeks later, Maya's life had settled into a new routine. Her iron supplements were helping and she was starting to feel more energetic. She had also started visiting Dr. Turner's clinic more often, not as a patient but as a friend. She helped, organize his files, and sometimes talk to nervous patients in the waiting room. Maya was filing medical records when every phone in the clinic started ringing at once. The receptionist answered the main line while Maya could hear Dr. Turner's personal phone buzzing from his office. Then the small television in the waiting room started showing breaking news alerts. "This is Channel 7 News with a special report," the announcer said. "We're receiving reports of massive objects appearing in our solar system. The government has called an emergency press conference for this afternoon." Maya dropped the files she was holding. Dr. Turner came running out of his office, his phone still pressed to his ear. "Yes, I understand," he was saying into the phone. "How many ships, and they're definitely not human technology?" Maya felt her heart start beating fast. "Dr. Turner, what's happening?" He held up one finger while he finished his call. "I'll be there in 2 hours," he said before hanging up. "Maya, I need you to sit down," Dr. Turner said seriously. "Is it aliens?" Maya asked, surprising herself with how calm she sounded. "Yes. 3 large ships appeared near Jupiter this morning. They've been sending radio signals toward Earth." Maya sank into one of the waiting room chairs. "Are they hostile?" "We don't know yet. The president is meeting with world leaders and military commanders. But Maya, there's something else you need to know." Dr. Turner sat down next to her. "The aliens have been sending messages. They're asking for someone specific." "Who?" "Me. They're asking for Dr. Alexander Turner by name." Maya stared at him. "How do they know who you are?" "I have no idea. But the government wants me in Washington immediately. They think the aliens might want to meet with me." The television was now showing grainy footage of 3 enormous ships floating in space. They looked nothing like human spacecraft. They were sleek and curved, almost like giant sea creatures swimming through the darkness. "I have to go," Dr. Turner said. "But Maya, I want you to know that whatever happens, our friendship means a lot to me." "Wait," Maya said, grabbing his arm. "Take me with you." "Maya, this could be dangerous. You said they asked for you specifically. What if they've been watching you? What if they know about this clinic, about the people you've been helping? I've been here almost every day for 2 weeks. If they've been watching, they might know about me too." Dr. Turner looked at her for a long moment. "You're right. And honestly, I could use someone I trust with me." 3 hours later, Maya found herself on a private jet flying toward Washington. She had never been on a plane before, let alone a luxury aircraft that belonged to Turner Aerospace. The seats were more comfortable than her bed at college. "Are you scared?" Dr. Turner asked as they flew over the clouds. "Terrified," Maya admitted, "but also excited. We might be about to meet aliens. How many people get to experience something like this?" When they landed, a government car was waiting for them. Maya watched the familiar buildings of Washington flash by as they drove toward a facility she had never seen before. The car stopped at a gate with serious-looking guards who checked their identification multiple times. Inside the building, Maya and Dr. Turner were led to a conference room filled with important-looking people in military uniforms and expensive suits. Maya recognized the president from television. She felt completely out of place in her college sweatshirt and jeans. "Dr. Turner," the president said, standing up to shake his hand. "Thank you for coming so quickly. Mr. President, this is Maya Chen. She's been assisting me at my clinic." The president nodded politely at Maya, then turned back to Dr. Turner. "We need to brief you on what we know. The aliens have been sending the same message repeatedly. They say they need medical assistance, and they specifically requested you." A military officer handed Dr. Turner a folder. "We've been monitoring their communications for the past 6 hours. They call themselves the Zilithians. They claim to come from a water-covered planet about 30 light-years away." Dr. Turner opened the folder and started reading. Maya tried to look over his shoulder, but most of the information was technical and hard to understand. "They say they have a plague affecting their entire species," Dr. Turner said after reading for several minutes, "and somehow they know about my medical work on Earth." "How is that possible?" Maya asked. A woman in a lab coat spoke up. "We think they've been monitoring our planet for some time. They might have been studying our medical practices and identified Dr. Turner as someone who could help them. But why me specifically? Dr. Turner asked. There are doctors with more experience, more advanced training. Perhaps, the woman continued. It's not just about medical knowledge. Your resources, your access to technology through Turner Aerospace, and your track record of helping people regardless of cost or status might make you unique. Maya thought about this. Dr. Turner was not just a doctor. He was a doctor with billions of dollars and access to the most advanced technology on Earth. If aliens needed medical help, he might be the only person who could provide both the knowledge and the resources to help them. Dr. Turner, the president said, we need to know if you're willing to meet with them. They've requested a face-to-face meeting on their ship. Maya felt her stomach drop. You mean go up to their spaceship? That appears to be what they want, the president confirmed. Dr. Turner was quiet for a long time. Maya watched him thinking, weighing the decision. She knew he was torn between his desire to help and the enormous risk of going into space with completely unknown aliens. If I say yes, Dr. Turner finally said, I want Maya to come with me. Sir, we can't risk civilians, one of the military officers started to say. Maya has been helping me at the clinic. She has good instincts about people, and she keeps me grounded. If I'm going to make decisions that could affect the entire human race, I want someone I trust with me. Maya felt scared and honored at the same time. Dr. Turner was asking her to help him make first contact with an alien species. Maya, the president said, looking at her directly. Are you willing to do this? Maya thought about the nervous girl, who had been afraid to enter a small clinic just a few weeks ago. Now she was being asked to help save an entire alien species. Life had a funny way of pushing people beyond what they thought they could handle. Yes, Maya said, surprised by how steady her voice sounded. I'm willing. The president nodded. Then, we begin preparations immediately. You'll be transported to their ship tomorrow morning. As Maya sat in that room full of the most powerful people on Earth, she realized that her simple friendship with a kind doctor was about to change the course of human history. The shuttle ride to the Zilithian ship was nothing like Maya had imagined. She had expected to be terrified, but instead she felt strangely calm as Earth grew smaller below them. Dr. Turner sat next to her, reading through medical files on a tablet computer. Even going to meet aliens, he was still preparing like any good doctor would. Are you ready for this? He asked as their shuttle approached the massive alien vessel. Maya looked out the window at the ship that was bigger than any building she had ever seen. Its surface looked smooth and wet, like it was covered in water even in the vacuum of space. I don't think anyone could be ready for this, Maya said, but I'm glad I'm here with you. The docking process was surprisingly smooth. Maya had worried about whether human and alien technology would be compatible, but the Zilithians had clearly been studying human spacecraft for some time. When the airlock opened, Maya's first thought was that she could breathe normally. The air smelled different, like being near the ocean, but it was perfectly safe for humans. Her second thought was amazement at what she saw. The hallways of the ship were filled with a thin layer of flowing water. The walls curved like being inside a giant seashell. Everything was designed for beings who lived in water, but it had been modified to accommodate air-breathing visitors. 2 Zilithians were waiting for them. Maya had seen pictures during the briefings, but meeting them in person was completely different. They were tall and graceful, with skin that looked like it was always wet. Their large eyes were intelligent and kind, reminding Maya somehow of dolphins. Dr. Turner, one of them said in perfect English. I am Healing Leader Kith. Thank you for coming to help us. This is Maya Chen, Dr. Turner said. She assists me with my medical work. The second Zilithian, who introduced herself as Science Leader Nara, looked at Maya with curiosity. You are not trained as a healer? No, Maya said, feeling suddenly self-conscious. I'm just a college student. Interesting, Nara said. We have studied human medical practices for many cycles. Most human healers work with others who have similar training. Dr. Turner works with someone who thinks differently. This is unusual. Keth led them deeper into the ship, to what was clearly a medical facility. Maya was amazed to see that it looked both completely alien and strangely familiar. The basic principles of medicine seemed to be universal, even if the equipment looked nothing like what she was used to. "Please, observe our afflicted ones," Keth said, leading them to a large room filled with Zilithians lying still in shallow pools of water. Dr. Turner immediately went into doctor mode, examining the sick aliens carefully. Maya watched him work, impressed by how quickly he adapted to completely different physiology. But she could see the frustration growing on his face. "Their cellular structure is unlike anything in human medicine," Dr. Turner said to Maya quietly. "I can see that they're sick, but I don't understand how their bodies are supposed to work when they're healthy." Maya looked around the room at the suffering Zilithians. Something about the scene bothered her, but she could not figure out what it was. "Keth," Dr. Turner said, "can you show me how your healing methods normally work?" Keth demonstrated their traditional treatments, which involved complex arrangements of water flow and what looked like musical tones. Maya watched, fascinated, as the Zilithians tried to heal their own people using methods that had worked for thousands of years. "But none of this is helping with the current plague," Nara explained. "The sickness affects our core biological functions in ways we have never seen before." Dr. Turner spent hours examining patients and studying Zilithian medical records. Maya helped by taking notes and asking questions that occurred to her. Sometimes her questions seemed obvious, but Dr. Turner encouraged her to keep asking. "Maya," Dr. Turner said during a break, "what do you think? You've been watching everything. Do you notice anything I might be missing?" Maya thought carefully. "Well, I keep thinking about how different this is from your clinic back home. When you treat human patients, you always start by understanding what normal looks like for that specific person. But here, we're trying to understand what normal looks like for an entire species we've never seen before." "That's a good point. What else?" "Also, in your clinic, you always ask patients about their daily lives, their families, their stress levels. But here we're only looking at the medical symptoms. We don't really know how Zilithian society works or what might be causing stress in their population." Dr. Turner nodded slowly. "You're right. I've been so focused on the biological aspects that I haven't considered the social factors." Over the next several hours, Maya and Dr. Turner began asking different kinds of questions. They learned that the plague had started shortly after the Zilithians began preparing for their journey to Earth. They discovered that Zilithian society had never dealt with the stress of space travel or contact with other species. But the breakthrough came when Maya noticed something that everyone else had missed. "Dr. Turner," she said quietly, "look at the pattern of who gets sick first in each family group." Dr. Turner studied the records Maya was pointing to. "The eldest members and the youngest ones are getting sick first." "Right. And in human families, who usually gets stressed first when there's a big change or scary situation?" "The most vulnerable members," Dr. Turner said, his eyes widening with understanding. "Maya, I think you figured it out." Maya felt a rush of excitement. What if this isn't really a plague in the medical sense? What if it's a stress response that's so severe it's making them physically sick? Dr. Turner started pulling up more data on his tablet. That would explain why their traditional healing methods aren't working. They're treating it like a physical disease. But if it's psychological stress manifesting as physical symptoms, then we need to treat both the mind and the body, Maya finished. Keth and Nara had been listening to their conversation with growing interest. "This is a new way of thinking about healing," Keth said. "We have always treated the body and the mind as separate things. Humans learned a long time ago that they're connected," Dr. Turner explained. "Stress and fear can make people physically sick, and physical illness can affect mental health." Maya felt proud to be part of this discovery. Her different perspective, her lack of formal medical training, had actually been helpful. She was not limited by traditional ways of thinking about medicine. "So how do we treat an entire species?" "For stress?" Nara asked. Dr. Turner and Maya looked at each other. They had identified the problem, but finding a solution would require combining human understanding of psychology with Zilithian biology in ways that had never been attempted before. We're going to need to get creative, Dr. Turner said. And we're going to need to work together in ways that neither of our species has ever tried before. Maya realized that this was exactly the kind of impossible challenge that humans were good at solving. They were about to prove that sometimes the best solutions came from thinking in completely new ways. Dr. Turner and Maya had been working with the Zilithians for 3 days, developing a treatment plan that combined human stress management techniques with Zilithian healing methods. The results were promising. Many of the sick Zilithians were starting to recover when healing leader Keth called an emergency meeting. "We must tell you the complete truth," Keth said, his large eyes filled with worry. "Our people are not sick from natural stress. We have been hiding something important from your leaders on Earth." Maya felt her stomach tighten. "What do you mean?" Science leader Nara activated a large display screen that showed star maps Maya did not recognize. The plague affecting our people was not created by stress alone. It was created by another species called the Krex. Dr. Turner leaned forward. "You mean this was biological warfare?" "Yes," Keth confirmed. "The Krex have been moving through this part of the galaxy for many years. They destroy any species they think might become powerful enough to challenge them." Maya stared at the star map. "Are you saying they're coming for Earth too?" "We believe so," Nara said sadly. "The Krex have been watching your planet. Your species advances very quickly in technology and medicine. They see humans as a future threat." Dr. Turner was quiet for a long moment. "Why didn't you tell us this from the beginning?" "Because we were afraid," Keth admitted. "We came to Earth hoping your healers could save our people before the Krex arrived to finish what they started. We did not want to frighten your leaders into making war." Maya felt anger rising in her chest. "But people deserve to know the truth. Our governments need time to prepare." "You are right," Nara said. "But we also hoped that if we could be healed, we could help your people fight when the time comes." Dr. Turner stood up and began pacing. Maya could see his mind working through the implications. "How long do we have?" "The Krex fleet will reach your solar system in approximately 6 of your months," Keth replied. Maya felt the weight of the situation settle on her shoulders. They were not just trying to cure an alien plague anymore. They were racing against time to prepare for an invasion. "We need to contact Earth immediately," Dr. Turner said. "Our governments need to know what's coming." "There is more," Nara said quietly. "The Krex biological weapon was designed specifically to attack the Zilithian nervous system. But we have learned something troubling from studying the weapon." "What is it?" Maya asked. "The weapon adapts. The Krex probably already have versions that would affect human biology. They have been studying your species just as we have." Dr. Turner stopped pacing, "So they could attack Earth with a plague before they ever get here with their ships." "It is possible," Keth confirmed. Maya felt overwhelmed. A few weeks ago, her biggest worry was passing her college exams. Now she was discussing the possible extinction of the human race. "But there's something they didn't expect," Dr. Turner said suddenly. "They didn't expect humans and Zilithians to work together." "What do you mean?" Nara asked. Maya began to understand what Dr. Turner was thinking. "The Krex designed their weapon to work on Zilithian biology, but we figured out how to treat it using human medical knowledge." "Exactly," Dr. Turner continued. "And if they create a weapon targeting humans, we might be able to develop treatments using Zilithian healing methods." Keth's eyes brightened with hope. A combination of both medical traditions might be stronger than either one alone. Dr. Turner turned to Maya. "I need to ask something very difficult of you. I have to go back to Earth and convince world leaders to prepare for war. But someone needs to stay here and continue working on treatments." Maya felt scared, but she also felt determined. "You want me to stay on the alien ship by myself?" "Not by yourself. You'd be working with Keth and Nara. And Maya, you've proven that your way of thinking is exactly what we need. You see solutions that trained doctors miss?" Maya thought about everything that had brought her to this moment. The nervous girl who was afraid to see a doctor had somehow become someone that aliens trusted to help save their species. "What would I need to do?" she asked. "Work with the Zilithians to understand their healing methods completely," Dr. Turner explained, "and help them understand human biology. If the Kreks attack Earth with a biological weapon, you might be our best hope for developing a cure." Maya looked at Keth and Nara. Despite being aliens, they had become her friends over the past few days. "Will you teach me everything you know about Zilithian medicine?" "We would be honored to," Keth replied. "You have already taught us much about human healing methods." Dr. Turner put his hand on Maya's shoulder. "Are you sure about this? It means staying in space for months, working with alien technology, learning medicine that no human has ever studied before." Maya thought about her old life at college, studying for tests and worrying about grades. Then she thought about the Kreks fleet moving through space toward Earth, carrying weapons designed to destroy entire species. "I'm sure," Maya said. "But Dr. Turner, you need to convince Earth's leaders to work together. If the Kreks are as dangerous as Keth and Nara say, humans will need to unite like never before. I'll also need to prepare Turner Aerospace for the biggest project in human history," Dr. Turner added, "building defenses and medical facilities that can handle interplanetary warfare." Maya realized that Dr. Turner was about to transform from a humble clinic doctor into a military leader. His wealth and resources, which he had used quietly to help individual patients, would now be needed to help save humanity. "There's one more thing," Nara said. "The Kreks do not expect cooperation between species. They have always defeated their enemies by dividing them, making them fight alone." "Then that's our advantage," Maya said. "They're expecting to fight humans and Zilithians separately. They're not prepared to fight an alliance." Dr. Turner smiled proudly at Maya. "You're absolutely right. The Kreks think they understand how to defeat species one at a time. They don't understand how to defeat species that work together." As Dr. Turner prepared to return to Earth, Maya felt the enormous responsibility settling on her shoulders. She was about to become humanity's first interspecies medical researcher, working to develop defenses against weapons that could destroy civilizations. But for the first time since learning about the Kreks threat, Maya felt hopeful. The nervous girl who had been afraid to enter a small clinic was gone. In her place was someone ready to help save two worlds. 4 months later, Maya stood in the command center of the joint human-Zilithian medical facility orbiting Earth. She could hardly believe how much her life had changed. The scared college student who once avoided doctors was now coordinating medical defenses for two entire species. Through the large window, she could see Turner Aerospace ships working alongside Zilithian vessels, building the largest medical station ever created. Dr. Turner had kept his promise. Earth's governments had united, and his company's resources were being used to prepare for the coming war. "Maya," healing leader Keith called from across the room. "The Earth Defense Fleet is reporting contact with Krek scouts." Maya felt her heart start beating faster, but not from fear this time. It was excitement mixed with determination. They had been preparing for this moment for months. "Are our medical teams ready?" Maya asked. "Human and Zilithian healers are standing by at all defensive positions," science leader Nara confirmed. "The combined treatment protocols you developed are loaded into every medical facility." Maya had spent the past 4 months learning Zilithian healing methods while teaching them human medicine. Together, they had created entirely new ways of treating diseases and injuries. More importantly, they had developed treatments for biological weapons that neither species could have created alone. Dr. Turner's voice came through the communication system from the lead defense ship. "Maya, are you monitoring the Kreks transmissions?" "Yes," Maya replied, looking at the translation data on her screen. "They're demanding that Earth surrender immediately or face biological warfare, just like they did to dozens of other species," Keth said grimly. Maya studied the Kreks message carefully. Something about it bothered her. "Dr. Turner, I think there's something important in their communication pattern." "What do you see?" "They keep talking about eliminating the human threat and destroying Zilithian resistance, but they never mention us working together. It's like they still think we're fighting separately." Through the communication channel, Maya could hear Dr. Turner discussing this with the military commanders. After a few minutes, he came back on the line. Maya, you might be right. Our intelligence suggests the Kreks have been studying humans and Zilithians as separate species. They don't seem to understand that we've formed an alliance. Suddenly, alarms started ringing throughout the medical station. The main display screen showed dozens of Krek ships appearing throughout the solar system. The attack has begun, Nara announced. Maya watched as the battle unfolded on the display screens. The Krek ships were large and powerful, but they seemed confused by the joint human-Zilithian defensive tactics. They kept trying to divide the fleet into separate human and Zilithian groups, but the alliance held together. Maya, Dr. Turner's voice came through with urgency. We're detecting biological weapon deployment from the Krek ships, multiple strains designed to affect both human and Zilithian physiology. This was the moment Maya had been preparing for. All medical teams begin treatment protocol 7 immediately. Remember, use both human and Zilithian methods together. Maya coordinated the medical response from her position on the station. Reports came in from across the solar system as Krek's biological weapons hit human colonies and Zilithian ships. But, instead of the mass casualties the Kreks expected, the combined medical teams were successfully treating most of the affected people. Impossible, came a transmission from one of the Krek ships. Maya realized they had intercepted a Krek's internal communication. The biological weapons should have eliminated 70% of both species by now. Maya smiled. The Kreks had designed their weapons to work on humans, or Zilithians, separately. They had never considered that the two species might share medical knowledge and develop combined treatments. Dr. Turner, Maya said into her communicator, the medical defenses are working better than we hoped. The Krek's weapons can't adapt fast enough to counter treatments that use both human and Zilithian methods. Outstanding work, Maya. But we need to take this further. Can your medical teams do something offensive instead of just defensive? Maya thought about this. She had been so focused on treating Krek's weapons that she had not considered turning their own methods against them. Keth, Nara, she called to her Zilithian colleagues. Do we know anything about Krek's biology? We have some data from previous encounters, Nara replied. But the Kreks are very different from both humans and Zilithians. Maya studied the biological data on the Kreks that appeared on her screen. But look at this. Their immune systems are incredibly specialized. They've evolved to resist their own biological weapons, but that makes them vulnerable to other types of treatments. What are you thinking? Dr. Turner asked. What if we create a treatment that's designed to help rather than harm? Something that would boost immune function and cellular repair. The Krek's immune systems might not know how to handle beneficial biological agents. Keth's eyes widened with understanding. A healing agent that their bodies cannot process correctly. Maya began working frantically with the combined human-Zilithian medical team. They had 30 minutes to create something that had never been attempted before. A biological treatment that would overwhelm the Krek's immune systems with beneficial agents their bodies could not handle. This is completely untested, Dr. Turner warned through the communicator. Everything we've done in the past 4 months has been untested, Maya replied. That's what makes humans and Zilithians dangerous to the Kreks. We try things they would never expect. The combined medical team worked with incredible speed and efficiency. Human creativity and Zilithian precision came together to create a biological agent that was part medicine, part weapon, and completely unprecedented. Deployment ready, Maya announced. All ships, prepare to deliver Maya's surprise to the Kreks. Fleet, Dr. Turner ordered. Maya watched as human and Zilithian ships worked together to deliver the medical weapon to the Kreks vessels. The results were immediate and dramatic. The Kreks ships began losing power as their crews became overwhelmed by beneficial biological agents their immune systems could not process. Within hours, the Kreks fleet was disabled. For the first time in their history, they had encountered a species alliance that fought them with healing instead of weapons, cooperation instead of division, and creativity instead of rigid tactics. The Kreks are requesting terms for withdrawal, Dr. Turner reported. Maya looked around the medical station at her human and Zilithian colleagues working side by side. The nervous girl who had once been afraid to see a doctor was now the coordinator of the greatest medical victory in galactic history. "Tell them," Maya said, "that if they want to survive in this galaxy, they need to learn what we learned. Sometimes, the greatest strength comes from helping others instead of destroying them." As the Krex fleet retreated, Maya realized that humanity and the Zilithians had not just won a war. They had created something new, a model for how different species could work together to solve problems that neither could solve alone. The small clinic where it all began was still operating back on Earth, still helping people one patient at a time. But now it was also the symbol of something much larger. The idea that healing and cooperation could triumph over fear and destruction anywhere in the universe.